Hi everyone, my name's Anne Marie. Welcome to this card making project. This project we're going to make an easel card, but not just any easel card. We're going to make a very special easel card using our Anna Griffin supplies. We're going to make a shaker easel card, something that a little bit different. Everything I do use will be in a detailed list on my blog, so please be sure to check that out. I will also include it underneath in the description box on YouTube. If you want to contact me, please feel free on Facebook or my blog. The details of where you can find me are at the end of the episode. I can't reply to you on YouTube though, but you can always contact me on Facebook. I'll always get back to you and reply to your messages on there. I do love hearing from you. Talking of which, we're coming up to my 500th episode at the end of April 2019, just in case you're watching this in years to come. And I'm looking for you to be part of that episode. There's more details on my blog, so please check it out, because I think you might be happy to be part of it, maybe, or maybe not. It's up to you. Okay, so we're going to make a shaker easel card. The two die sets that we're going to use the French frame dies from Anna Griffin, and we're going to use this particular die, and we're going to use the inner shape from this die as well. We're not using the smaller one from the set. Now I'm also going to make a shadow layer. Now to do this, I've simply turned the frame die round, placed it on my paper on my cardstock, I've drawn round it, and then I've cut it out, and that will fit as a shadow layer to the die cut frame that we're going to use. Okay, now the second set of dies that we're going to use are the fancy flourishes, and this is set 2 of, in fact I'm sorry it isn't, it's set 1 of the fancy flourishes, and we're going to be using this one, and I think it's this one, and they're just going to add a little bit of extra embellishment to the front of our easel card. Okay, so first of all, what we're going to need is, I think we'll start with our mechanism. Now this is going to make the easel. I've die cut ivory cardstock. Now you can do this in any colour. It doesn't have to be ivory. I've picked quite muted tones because we're concentrating more on how to make it than how it looks, if that kind of makes sense. So what I've done is I've cut out the French frame, ivory cardstock, I've left the middle intact, so it's more of a layer than a frame, and then I've scored, it's approximately 1.5 inches down, scored and creased, and then from where that crease is, I've scored it in half. So that's in half from the first crease, and that's approximately 1.5 inches down. I've actually done it where I've taken it to the first knobble and I've just scored underneath it, and then from there it's half again. So I hope that makes sense. And then you want tape on the back of the smaller fold and on the front of the bottom fold. You'll see why when we get to it. Now I created easel cards last year at Create 4 and everybody loved them, and this is kind of like just another idea to make your easel cards. Now I'm going to start off and I'm going to make the base for my easel card. So this is one of the shadow layers that we've cut out, and then I've cut the top layer as the fancy French frame. I've used the lovely layers from Anna in the 7x5. However, this is from the Eleanor collection, so you would be able to use that cardstock from that collection. So I've cut out the frame layer, I've got tape on the back of it, and in actual fact I just want to point something out if my glue will work. Now where you've cut it out and it's got fine detail, if you're a little bit unsure about where to add your glue, there's lots of places on the back of this that you can just add a little bit of glue. So just give it a go. So I'm going to just attach this to the base shadow layer that I cut out of ivory cardstock by using the die and just drawing round it and cutting out. I'm just holding it for a few seconds for that glue just to start to work. Now this is going to be our base layer, so I'm going to put this to one side. Don't think my glue's going to stick there, but we'll give it a go. We'll put this to one side just for now, and then, in fact, let me just add a little bit more there and let that stick while it's sat. Now we're going to start on the front. Now what I have to do is I've cut out a shadow layer already, and I want to now add the mechanism. So this is going to be our front, and we've just attached the frame to the back. So we can take our mechanism, and where we've got the smaller fold, we're going to add this to the base, marry up the pattern like so. There we go. And then put the layer down flat and add the shadow layer to the top like that and press it down. There we go. Now that is actually the start and the mechanics of your easel card. There we go. So you can see how it's attached at the back, and that's how it's going to stand up. Okay, so now we can create our shaker section. So this is the front of our easel, and this is our, as we would class it on a normal card, a base layer. Now I want to add a sentiment to it, so I've taken one of the quotes from the Anna Griffin Quotes and Flowers collection. I've taken it through my Xyron machine because I want an all over adhesive. I'm going to peel it away from the carrier sheet, and then I'm going to position it roughly, and I'm going to say roughly, and I'm going to use my base that we're going to use as a template. So I'm thinking about there for our card, like so, because I want to be able to see the sentiment through the aperture on the layers that we're going to add. Now the next thing I'm going to add is going to be our shaker selection, shall we say. Now Anna made some shaker card kits that had the sequin pockets in, and she also did an extra kit with extra pockets and the windows, etc. I've simply taken one of the pockets of sequins and I've trimmed it slightly just at the corners because I want it to fit the frame. Now this is why I've had to make a shadow frame, because I needed something for it to stick to, because it wouldn't stick to just the die cut frame. So I've put clear tape on the edge. I've actually used the red tape for the stronger hold, and I'm simply going to add this in the centre. Now I'm hoping that I'm going to position it right, because of the seals around the edge. I don't really want to see those, over our next layer, and I think I might have got it just about right. So I can press it down, and that is the start of our shaker for the easel card. Now my next layer, as you've just seen, was a shadow layer, but I've die cut the centre using the inner die from the frame collection. Again, I've used the 7x5 lovely layers from Anna, or you could use, as we said before, the Eleanor paper. I've got flat tape down the two sides, but I've got 3D foam along the top. And that's literally because the sequin packet is a little bit raised. So I want my layer to sit flush, or as flush as it can do, to the actual shaker. So I'm positioning this over the previous layer and just marrying up the edges like that and press it down. And so far, so good. Now our next layer is one of the actual frame die cut. And I've cut out the centre to go over the actual centre that we've cut. I've got some tape on the actual back of the frame that we've die cut. I've die cut it in ivory just because I wanted to draw more of attention to the actual shaker than the frame. So I'm going to position that over the centre like so. There we go. And then I'm going to press it down and just hold it for a minute where I've just added the glue. There we go. And yep, still shakes. So now we can decorate this section. So what I've done is I've taken some of Anna's rose gold cardstock. I've got a little bit of tape in the middle. I've die cut it using the fancy flourish dies. Now if you're in doubt, you can always add a little bit of glue to the back. I've added just some tape through the centre because I know we're going to add a floral sticker over the centre. So I'm just going to put it at an angle, press it down for a minute, and then I've also taken the same die and I'm going to add this towards the bottom, and there's tape again over it. I think I will go, I wasn't going to go symmetrical, but we'll give it a try. And then I've also got a third flourish that I've just trimmed away, and again there's a little bit of tape on it. We can put that to the other side. Now I know it looks a little bit odd at the moment, so it needs a few flowers. So I've taken 3 flowers from the from the quotes and the flowers selection, and I'm simply going to add the flowers around the edge and just over the top of the actual flourishes that we've die cut. And I'm just adding the last one, peeling the back away, and that will sit nicely in that corner. And then we can finish that with a little bow to one side. Now we need a stopper for our easel card because we want it to be able to stand up. So what I'm thinking is I've taken again one of the actual quotes from the Anna Griffin Quotes and Flowers selection. I've trimmed it using a smaller circular die, any old circle die, It wasn't a particular one. I've also cut a base layer in the rose gold cardstock. They're both on 3D foam, and I'm going to add it just slightly off centre. There we go, and press that down. And I'm going to finish this off with just one of the flower stickers. Now I've trimmed this down so that it will fit to the bottom of our card, and I'm hoping I can just, there we go, get it to slide in at the side of the actual sentiment. Now our card is totally finished, and I know it's going to be very difficult for you to be able to see it, but there, that's how it stands up, and what a beauty. For anyone looking for inspiration from the sentiment that says, to live a creative life we must lose our fear of being wrong. And then the inside it says, believe you can and you will. How inspirational is that for anybody that just needs that push or reassurance? And yet our easel card is a shaker. Wow. And it looks so impressive from the side. It's just awesome. Oh, I love it. I really do. But you know me, I've got a little bit of a thing for easel cards. That is so pretty. Can you imagine receiving that in the post? Now I know you would need probably a big fat mailer. I know we haven't had those in the UK yet, so you'd need a bigger envelope. But wow, you'd need your extra padding and your tissue paper, and oh, that's definitely a mantelpiece keeper. So I hope you've enjoyed this as much as I have with my passion for easel cards. Please check my blog. There's so many other projects on there and other tutorials, lots of information. Please share, give it the thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. If you're going to give this a go, let me know. Send me a photo on Facebook. Tag me. All the information of where you can find me is coming up at the end of the video. And I would just like to say thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you next time.